What's going on, everyone? This is Chris, and hey, I'm doing something different today, man. I'm gonna do a video as I go through of what I made. Some of you may know, if you follow me on social media, I have gone back to being a vegetarian. So I made a little dish, man, to I guess kick it off. And this dish was simple. This was inspired by my aunt, but right here I use about not even really a half an onion, but a white onion, but I use half of a white onion to that I cut up to add to my rice and to my black beans. So took that half and cut the bad boy up, and as you see. But yeah, like I said, going back to my social media, if you follow me, I went about 2 years and 9 months as a vegetarian, and during that time I felt good. As some of you know, I'm in the military, so real quick, took half of that half, put it in a bowl so I can add to my rice that I'm making. I'm making some brown rice. It's a pretty good dish. But so yeah, like I said, went about 2 years, 9 months as a vegetarian, and then went about another, after that 2 years, 9 months, I went back to eating meat. Bought an air fryer, and that got me. But yeah, and since I went back to eating meat, man, I've noticed when I wake up in the morning, a little bit more phlegm in my throat, where I wasn't getting phlegm. So I did about a cup of rice into that cup. I would say I did 2 cups of water, but I would say go about 2.5 cups, depending on how you want your rice. If you want it more hard, you want it more, in the middle, or you want it more gummy. But I normally turn it up high to get it boiling, and then I add the stuff that I'm cooking in there. You're gonna hear a lot of uhs a lot in this, because this is gonna be unedited, me and you talking as I look through this video. So 1 cup of rice, about a half an onion, and some salt. I would say, when you do your salt, go on your taste. As you can see, I went a teaspoon. That's actually a little bit more than I normally go. I normally go about a half a teaspoon. Actually, I want a tablespoon. I normally go about a teaspoon or half a teaspoon for that amount of rice. I normally go with a tablespoon if I'm doing more rice, and I messed up a little bit. But don't fault me, man. Go with your liking. It actually came out pretty good. So go with your liking. So get the water up boiling, and then put your stuff in there. If you like to rinse your rice out, rinse it out. Also add a little bit of virgin olive oil in there as well to get that thing going. I like it because it adds a little bit more flavor to my rice. So with the onions, the salt, and the olive oil, I get a little bit more flavor out of my rice, and I don't have to add any more seasoning to it. So I normally, once it's boiling for about a minute or two, I put the cap on and I turn it down to low. It's about a 1 on my stove. So yeah. Now over to the Instapot. I did some black beans, so I soaked my black beans for about 12 hours or so. So I soaked it to get whatever they say is in the beans that cause people to have gas. You soak it to make that happen. These are dry beans that I got, not too expensive. And so I soaked it, rinsed it, and put it in the Instapot. So that was about 2 cups of beans. And in the Instapot, I do about 4 cups of water. So a 1-to-2 ratio. So yeah, I put that in there. As you see me rinsing my fingers off, I was making sure the water covered all the beans. And then I put my other half of onion in there with that seasoning that you just saw. That's my little secret recipe because I like it. And I'm sharing it with you. I'm not gonna tell you how much. You gotta, like I said, make it to your liking. Turn the Instapot on. I did pressure cook, so that way I can set the time. And I made sure the vent was closed. I didn't want it to escape, because I wanted it to be pressure cook under pressure. So then I went with some asparagus. If you like asparagus, leave a comment below. Yeah, it makes your pee smell. So, if you haven't had asparagus before, know that it's gonna make your pee smell. But I want some asparagus, cut off the ends of it until I seen, some green. Did that, cut them up, obviously rinsed it off. You wanna rinse off your vegetables. And then from there, I went with some Brussels sprouts. Growing up, You might not like Brussels sprouts, but they're pretty good. I'm gonna try to make sure I add at the end of this video some of the nutritional values that you get from the different items that I use. And then I bought these from Publix. These are, you know, small potatoes mixed in color. And they're pretty good, easy to bake. Some people cook them whole. I cut them open. I just like to cut them open. So I cut them up. So like I stated, back to vegetarian after I noticed just a difference. You know, though I was eating meat for the past 6 months, I was moderate. I still was including a lot of vegetables and fruit in my diet. But just for the sake of, like I said, myself, I know what my body reacts to. I decided to go back to being a vegetarian. Not a vegan. I still, though I'm reducing my intake of like dairy products, cheese and milk, whole milk. I normally drink almond milk. Oh yeah, I added a red onion in this too, which brings more flavor out in your meal. So if you want to add a little bit more flavor, you put a red onion in the oven after seasoning, and it's actually pretty good. So like I stated, know yourself, know your body. I noticed, like I said, after going 2 years and 9 months of eating vegetables, I noticed a difference when I started eating meat. And I say I noticed a difference. I pretty much noticed my body reverted back to, like when I was eating meat heavy, you know, I would always have phlegm in my throat. I wake up in the morning having to clear my throat, clear my sinuses. So yeah, but not a full-blown vegan, but I said this time I was going to reduce my like egg intake and anything that has, you know, animal fats and stuff in it. So we'll see what happens with that as I go on this journey again. So cut up the red onion and just separated it so I could have those long strips as like I said, put it in the oven. So yeah, like I said, 2 years, 9 months, and it was good. So after that, put everything in a bowl, and like I said, rinsed off all your stuff that you use. Put everything in a bowl, and then from there, I added some olive oil, some Italian herbs. I go to olive oil, the same olive oil that I use for my rice. But like I said, some Italian herbs, some seasoned salt, and some pepper. No real measurements on the olive oil. I just poured it in until I got a nice good coat, a good enough coat that when I mixed it at all, it blended in. So, and the same for the herbs and the seasoned salt. I just went ahead and went, you know, to my liking, to my eyes. I'm the type of person when I cook, most of the time if I'm getting recipes, I need the measurements. And then from there, I go through and adjust it to my liking. But yeah, so this is what I did. Season that bad boy up. Y'all see my books in the background? Yeah, I do a little bit of reading at the table with the kids, with the family, with the wife. We go through the catechism. We've been going through the Heidelberg Catechism. It's my pepper. Like I said, do it to your taste. And then after that, just stir it up. We've been going through the Heidelberg Catechism though. If you haven't checked out my videos on the Heidelberg Catechism, I highly recommend it. Shameless plug. It is good. If you're a Christian, hopefully it will bring encouragement to you. And if you're not a believer and you happen to come across this video, maybe it'll bring some insight to who God is and who you are compared to him. So if you get a chance, check it out. I'll leave a link in the description below. So yeah, mix that bad boy up, and went through and mixed it up, got it nice, and then put it on a pan that can go into your oven. You can put it on a cookie sheet, you can put it on something like you see in the video, just something to go in there. And then I put it in the oven. While I was doing that, the other stuff was cooking, so that's always good. I put my rice on first just because rice and the beans took the longest. So, and then I had that preheating at 380. And I know I said 25 minutes on the video, but I wound up, once it was done, I took it out. I left it in there for another 5 minutes. So I would say, depending on your oven, 25 to 30 minutes on how fast your oven cooks. But that's the final product. That's what it looked like, man. that meal was actually pretty good. I mean, it's daughter approved. My daughter and my son, they're both picky eaters, and they loved it. My wife, obviously, she had it. She loved it. She said it was good. And that's a good vegan meal. Nothing in that meal came from like animal fat. So if you're like me, oh, this is Chris, yeah. If you're like me, and when I first went vegetarian, it was a little difficult and hard for me to find recipes. They had some online, and you know download different apps, but sometimes I would want to talk to people and get a quick meal. This meal was a quick meal. Literally the longest thing that took to prepare for prep was the cutting up the vegetables and cutting up the potatoes. But everything else was pretty simple. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. This is a little different, but this is gonna go into my health playlist. I have a playlist for health concerning exercising, men's health, women's health, and eating. If you like this content, as always, subscribe and stay tuned, because I'm gonna have more videos like this. This actually was inspired by two people. I said it in the beginning by my aunt, but also by a buddy of mine online who follows me on social media, was asking about different recipes. So hopefully this was helpful to you. And as always, you'll see me in the next video. Peace. Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Chris, and in today's video, we're gonna go back into the Heidelberg Catechism and look at question 4. If you're just coming to this video and question, hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Chris, and in today's video, we're gonna do a lyrical breakdown on Chris Jones' song, Born Again, from the album Trinity. If you haven't